कृष्ण से वो कैसे हो
So we have studied that we should accept this knowledge in a Guru Shishya Parampara, the disciplic succession, the authoritative disciplic succession.
और हमने ये देखा कि जो भगवत गीता है वो भगवान से गाया हुआ गीत है। गीता सु गीता कर्तव्य किम अन्य शास्त्र विस्तार।
Very nice. So this is Yahasvayam Padmanabhasya Mukha Padmat Vinishruta, that this particular song is sung by Krishna himself. Gita Sugita Kartavyam Kim Anya Shastra Vistare. There is no need of studying any other scripture because this particular scripture is sung by Yasvayam Padmanabhasya. That is, this is coming from the mouth of Padmanabh, that is Vishnu, that is Krishna. And that's why this book has to be given a lot of importance. So we also studied a lot of important shlokas from the introduction where Prabhupada is glorifying Bhagavad Gita, or Gita Mahatma is talking about the glories of Gita, how Bhagavad Gita is the milk which is milked by a special milkman, that is Krishna. And the calf is, who is the calf? Arjun. And we ultimately, we are receiving the milk. So because the calf is very dear to cow, and that's why this particular special milk is coming, that is Bhagavad Gita. So we also studied any another point. We studied a very important point: who should study Bhagavad Gita, or who is capable, who can understand Bhagavad Gita. Bhakto se me sakha cheti, one who is a devotee of Krishna and one who is his friend, or one who is in relationship with Krishna. So what kind of relationships we studied? Five rasas. Which are those? Vatsalya and Madhurya. So one is active, one is passive. Passive is Shanta rasa, active is Dasya rasa. Then there is Sakhya, friendship, Shanta, Dasya, then Sakhya. And then relationship as a parents and relationship as a conjugal lover, that is Madhurya rasa. So one who is in relationship with Krishna and one who is devotee of Krishna. So what is our relationship with Krishna? Jivera Swarup hoy Krishnera Nityadas. We are the servant of Krishna. And Radha Gokulanpur is servant of Krishna. That is a perfect relationship. Very good. Any other point for introduction?
Vedic scriptures is divided into three, that is Smriti, Shruti, and
we studied about how Vedic scriptures are divided into three parts: Shruti, Smriti, and mainly Shruti and Smriti. And then we studied how the Shruti and Smriti are divided into, Shrutis are divided into four parts. Which are those four parts? Itihas, Brahmana, Upanishad,
ब्राह्मण कुठलं ब्राह्मण
Aranyakaz,
Samhita.
So those parts are later on divided into multiple other things. So there are 18 Puranas, there is Itihas, Ramayana and Mahabharata is a part of Itihas. So we studied that how Bhagavad Gita is part of Shruti and Smriti both. Because Smriti, Itihas, it is a part of Mahabharata, so it is Smriti. And it is a part of Shruti because it is personally sung by Krishna. And that's why Bhagavad Gita is part of Upanishad also. And Bhagavad Gita is part of Itihasa, that is Mahabharata. And that's why Bhagavad Gita is called as a Gita Upanishad. Okay, please remember this. This will help you in preaching. Okay. So we were studying the spirit of Bhagavad Gita. If you, after the prayers, we saw the spirit of Bhagavad Gita. The spirit of Bhagavad Gita is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita itself. It is just like this. If we want to take a particular medicine, then we have to follow the directions written on that label. We cannot take the medicines according to our own whim or the direction of a friend. Page number 3, introduction. Are you all there? Just after introduction, after the prayers, the second paragraph. Bhagavad Gita should be taken or accepted as it is directed by the speaker himself. The speaker of Bhagavad Gita is Lord Sri Krishna. So Bhagavad Gita has to be accepted by Lord Sri Krishna. And then the same thing Lord is telling in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Those shlokas are also written here. Imam vivasvate yogan proktavan avyate vivasvan manve praha manurikshvakave bruvit इवं परंपरा प्राप्तम इमं राजर्षयोदो स कालेन महता योगो नष्ट परंतपा स स एवं मया तद्वे योग प्रोक्त पुरातनः भक्तोसी में सखा चेति रहस्यम यह एदम उत्तमम. That this particular knowledge which is rahasya, we are going to study in 12th chapter also, how this knowledge is very pavitra, it's very pure, and it's very, very confidential. Rajavidya, Rajaguhyam, Pavitram idam uttamam. This particular knowledge is Rajavidya. It's a king of knowledge, and it's a confidential knowledge. So this confidential knowledge, or in this sloka also Krishna is talking about rahasya. This is very, very confidential. So this rahasya or the confidential knowledge is not easily revealed. It is revealed only to his devotees and one who is in relationship with Krishna. So after this, we saw the 5 relationships next page. The next part, where the spirit of Bhagavad Gita is still continued, it is spoken, the last few lines, last paragraph you can see, in fact, on the page number 4. How Arjuna accepted this Bhagavad Gita should be noted. His manner of acceptance is given in the 10th chapter. So how one should accept the knowledge, it's very important. We will study in 4th chapter also, last verse. I think it's 4.29, that how one should accept knowledge, or how a knowledge can be gathered, or how we can understand the knowledge as it is, or the revealed in the scriptures. How we can understand what is the vidhi? Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnana jnaninas tattvadarshina. That the vidhi is tad vidhi pranipatena, one should surrender. After surrendering what? Pariprashnena, inquire. And then third thing, sevaya, one should render service. If these 3 things are followed, if this vidhi is followed, what happens is the tattvataha, you will get the knowledge of this particular darshan ho jayega. Tattvataha. Upadekshanti jnana jnaninas tattvadarshina. The knowledge will be revealed to a knowledgeable person. So this is the vidhi. So same thing Arjuna is doing here. Arjuna is glorifying Krishna, that you are a supreme personality of Godhead. You are not a normal living entity. And you are glorifying this, you are talking about this knowledge. So that's why I'm accepting this knowledge. So Arjuna is very humbly mentioning this, and Arjuna is saying, Arjuna uvacha param brahma param dhama pavitram paramam bhavan purusham shashvatam divyam adidevam ajam vibhu ahustvam रहस्य सर्वे देवर्षि नारदस्तथा असितो देवलो व्यास स्वयं चैव भविष्य में सर्वम एतद् ऋतं मन्ये यन्मां वदसि केशव नहि तु भगवान व्यक्तिं विदुर देवो न दानव. So he is telling that you, who is speaking this knowledge, is very special person, and I have accepted that special person. Arjuna is accepting this param brahma param dhama, that you are param brahma, you are absolute truth, you are the supreme absolute truth. You are not just a simple person, you are not some magician, or you are not some person who has attained some siddhi. You are a supreme personality of Godhead, you are supreme absolute truth, param dhama, and you are coming from this param dhama. You are not coming from some chapati. You are coming from dhama. It's a very special place, that is Golok Vrindavan. Pavitram paramam bhavan. Hey Bhagwan, hey Lord, you are the most pure person. You are the purest. And Purusham Shashvatam Divyam, you are the Purusha. You are the supreme controller. That's what is said here. Purusham Shashvatam Divyam, you are eternal and you are divine. Adidevam Ajam Vibhu, you are Adidev, you are the beginner of everything. You are from you, everything started. Ajam Vibhu, you are very powerful. And you are unlimited. Vibhu means unlimited. So Arjuna is glorifying here, and Arjun further next statement is, and this is not I am saying, just because you are friend. If you have a friend, then you say, my friend is like this, like this, like this. So Arjuna is not saying that, no, because you are my friend. No. Many times we say, Krishna is supreme personality of Godhead. Why? Because I am his devotee. So that should not be our mood. मैं भगवान का भक्त हूं इसलिए कि भगवान महान है. That is wrong. So Arjuna is not posing like that. Arjuna, what he is saying, this is not I am saying. This is all great personalities they have said. Who? Asito devalo vyasa swayam chaiva bhavishime. Devarshi Naradasthatha. Devarshi Narad Muni, who is well known in all three worlds, who is considered as the topmost of devotee, who is considered as most knowledgeable. Then Asita Muni, Devala Muni, and Vyasa Muni, Vyasadev, all these great personalities who are who have seen, who have realized your presence, and who are your great devotees, and they are well known in the world. They have accepted, and that's why I also accept you as a supreme personality of Godhead. And your words are completely absolute. Your words are completely true, and that's why we studied in Ishopnishad also. What is the invocation mantra of Ishopnishad? Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevasishyate. So what is this shloka? Why this? What this shloka indicates?
Is complete. So this personality is complete and full. Whatever emanations from him comes, those are also complete and full. Even then he also.
Yes. So whatever emanations come from Lord, whatever creation of the Lord is complete. So this particular book is also a creation of Lord, and that's why this knowledge is complete. When we say knowledge is complete, it is perfect. So that's what Arjuna is also confirming here, that whatever you are speaking is perfect. It's 100% perfect. There is no fault in it. If somebody is trying to find some fault in Bhagavad Gita, is a foolish person. We are going to study, Krishna. Some people they call Krishna, they try to bring Krishna on the material platform, and then they try to equal Krishna with themselves, and then they compare Krishna. How, if he can enjoy with 108 gopis or thousands of gopis, then why not me? So you are comparing with Krishna, or there are many people who compare with Krishna's strength, compare with Krishna's beauty, compare with Krishna's Aishwarya. We are also having a lot of Aishwarya. So because of this comparison, you try to bring Krishna on your platform. So Krishna, what he calls him, Mudha. They are murkha. They are foolish people. That's what Krishna is talking in Bhagavad Gita. So point is, Arjuna is glorifying Krishna. He is confirming Krishna's supremacy through great personalities. And then he's also telling that what knowledge you have given is also perfect. So I accept it wholeheartedly. Further, we are going to see the next paragraph, just what is the Bhagavad Gita. So we'll just read this particular thing. Just what is Bhagavad Gita? The purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to deliver mankind from the nuisance of material existence. Every man is in difficulty in so many ways, as Arjuna was in difficulty in having to fight the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Arjuna surrendered unto Krishna, and consequently this Bhagavad Gita is spoken. Not only Arjuna, but every one of us is full of anxiety because of material existence. Our very existence is in the atmosphere of non-existence. Actually, we are not meant to be threatened by non-existence. So non-existence is what? Maya. Maya means what? What is the definition of Maya? That which is not. So non-existence means jo nahi hai. So that which is not is Maya. So our Prabhupada writes very interestingly, our very existence is in the atmosphere of non-existence. So where we are living in Maya, where we are living in illusion. So we have to come out of this illusion. Actually, we are not meant to be threatened by non-existence. So we should not be scared of non-existence, because that is not our real place. If some you know that you are not, that is not your permanent place, you are peaceful. But many times people, for small things, they make it permanent. You go to train and then you find somebody sitting on your seat. Immediately your sattva guna rise to rajo and tamo guna, and then immediately you start by auto, and then he says something, then you think that as if I have owned that particular seat. And after 5 hours, 10 hours, 24 hours, you have to vacate. You cannot sit more than 24 hours. But then just for that 24 hours, we think that I am the owner of this particular place. Similarly, in this non-existence, which is not real, for very short time, compared to other demigods, compared to Krishna, compared to the time span of Brahma, our existence is nothing. But still we think that this non-existence is my eternal existence. And because of this Maya, because this illusion, we are, getting trapped. But somehow or other, we have put it into asata. Asat refers to the to which does not exist. Sata means eternal. Sat means truth. Asat asat means it is the eternal thing which is real, and asat means which is unreal, which is not the truth. But unfortunately, we have accepted asat as sat. We think that I am going to be like this only, 24-year-old, eternally, 16-year-old, eternally. No, we cannot. After 10 years, we'll realize that hairs are not there. Maybe 10 days. Okay, next. So the first important thing in the spirit of Bhagavad Gita, again to study, that we have accepted non-existence as real, and we should not accept the non-existence as real. That's a important point. And second point, in the next paragraph, middle few lines, humanity begins when this sort of inquiry is awakened in one's mind. In Brahma Sutra, this inquiry is called as a Brahma Jigyasa, Athato Brahma Jigyasa. So Vedanta Sutra or Brahma Sutra are very important, but we can't get into a study of Vedanta Sutra. But this particular sutra is very important, that is Athato Brahma Jigyasa. So when you are studying Bhagavad Gita, this particular point is very important, that this inquiry about the supreme truth is very, very important. Athato Brahma Jigyasa. So we saw last time. Instead of Athato Brahma Jigyasa, what we do? Athato Bhayankar Jigyasa. So we should not do Athato Bhayankar Jigyasa. So this inquiry is very important. Every activity of a human being is to be considered a failure unless it inquires about the nature of absolute. Therefore, those who begin to question why they are suffering or where they come from, where they shall go after the death, are proper students for understanding Bhagavad Gita. The sincere student should also have a firm respect for the Supreme Person of Godhead. Such a student was Arjuna. So we should inquire about these things, or we should again and again remind or recollect about these things. That's very important. So the spirit of Bhagavad Gita is that, one thing is that we are in illusion, we have to come out of illusion, we are in Maya. Second is that we have to be a proper student like Arjuna and inquire Athato Brahma Jigyasa, which how much time in a day we really inquire. That's very important. How many times in a day we really ask this question, or how many times in a day we remind ourselves that I'm not this body, I'm soul. We keep reminding ourselves that I'm not soul, I'm body, and then we provide so much to our body. But then it's very important to remind ourselves that we are not this body, we are soul. So it's very, very important inquiry which we have to do on a regular basis. And this Bhagavad Gita will help us to recollect, remember, understand that how the Brahma Jigyasa is very important. Third point, Lord Krishna descends specifically to re-establish the real purpose of life when man forgets that purpose. यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थान अधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम् परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतं धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे. So this particular shloka, how do we understand that every yuga Krishna comes for establishment of dharma, right? Paritrane sadhunam, to protect his devotee. Vinashaya cha dushkritam, those who are miscreants, those who are demoniacs, to destroy them. And third, to establish dharma. Sambhavami yuge yuge. Every yuga I come. So not only in every yuga, but he comes in a very different forms, different ways. He comes through Grantha. He came as Srimad Bhagavatam. He came as Srimad Bhagavad Gita. He also comes through his devotees. Asito, Devalo, Vyasa, Devarshi, Naradas, Tatha. He came as he comes through his devotees like Srila Prabhupada and gives this knowledge. Acharyas gives this knowledge. There are so many acharyas. From Shankaracharya to so many acharyas have come. When there was a Buddhist philosophy so much rampant in India. So after that, what happened? Shankaracharya had to come and establish Vedic Dharma. Then after Shankaracharya, later on Ramanujacharya came, Madhvacharya came, Nimbarkacharya came. So many other acharyas have come. And they have established. They are empowered people. They have sent by Krishna. For what? Establishment of Dharma. So Krishna is telling here this particular point. Lord Krishna descends specifically to establish the real purpose of life when man forgets that purpose. So whenever man forgets that purpose, immediately Krishna, arranges someone or something. Like when Buddhist philosophy was very much rampant, why Lord Buddha, before Buddhist philosophy, that was around 2000 years before, 2500 years before, what was the situation? The situation was all the Brahmanas, they were taking the support of Vedas, and they were, killing, or they were not following the regulatory principles properly. So then Lord Buddha had to come and say that keep the Vedas aside, ahimsa paramo dharma, that, the non-violence is the ultimate religion. And then after teaching that particular thing, that went on for a long time. And then Shankaracharya came and then re-established Vedic culture, Vedas again. So, there was a huge gap in between where people are not following anything. People are either, they had lost the purpose. And then Shankaracharya came and established that purpose. But then that purpose was not complete. What was established was not complete. He did his job of establishing Vedic Dharma or Vedas back. Then Lord Ramanujacharya had to come and distinguish or make a difference. Because Shankaracharya had established this particular philosophy, Advaita, that the Lord and Supreme Personality of God is one. They are not two. They are not two different things. Ultimately, you have to merge into one. Everything is one. That was the philosophy. And then from that, two different philosophies came. The philosophy of so philosophy of Brahmavad and philosophy of Mayavad. Because you merge into Brahman, that means you merge into a Brahmajyoti. That is one philosophy. Another, you merge into Brahman and you become Brahman. That is another philosophy. So that is Mayavadi philosophy. So these two different philosophies came. And then he had to come, Ramanuja had to come and break this particular understanding. No, Advaita is not all in all. He established Vishishta Advaita. That is, the living entity and Supreme Personality of Godhead, they are different. They are not one. And then Madhvacharya came and he established this particular philosophy very strong, Dvaitavad. That's why you see Madhvacharya is like this. It's not victory sign. That's what Madhvacharya is making, or in a Hare Krishna, it is not Vancha sign. Pata hai na? Vancha. People's soul. Vancha prove. That is not our way of doing it. Anyways. So he says living entity and Krishna, they are completely different. They are not one. So later on also that was not all in all. That is not complete. So then Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and he established Achinta Bheda Bheda Tattva. That living entity and Supreme Lord, they are different and they are same. And it is very inconceivable to understand the Supreme Personality. Achintya Bheda Abheda. This is a philosophy. Achinta is inconceivable. Bheda means that there is a difference. Abheda, there is no difference. So this particular point is very, very important. Okay. So Lord comes and he says when the purpose is lost, he again and again comes. Like even in our Sampradaya also, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then Shata Goswami, and then few Acharyas, Swarup Damodar Goswami and all of them, they made our philosophy. And then for around 180 years, the philosophy was lost. The purpose was lost again. People are again doing something wrong. Again, Bhakti Vinod Thakur and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, they had to come and establish it again. So we are very fortunate that we have received this particular ripened fruit and we have to accept it. So these 3 points are very important. Bhagavad Gita is studied, Bhagavad Gita is understood to come out of illusion. Where is Sahil? Why is not here?
Sahil is
Okay. So Bhagavad Gita is to come out of illusion. Bhagavad Gita is the perfect inquiry, Athato Brahma Jigyasa, and to understand the compassion of Krishna. And Krishna comes to give this knowledge again and again. Further, we also saw this, that how the 5 topics of Bhagavad Gita are spoken here. Right? Which are the 5 topics of Bhagavad Gita? Jiva. Okay. Jiva, Ishvara, Kala, Karma, Prakriti. This is the sequence you can remember. So that is given in next paragraph by Prabhupada. The subject of Bhagavad Gita is entitled to comprehensive 5 basic truth. The first of all is the science of God, Found it? Where is your Bhagavad Gita? The science of God is explained, and then constitutional position of the living entity Jiva. Sorry. First of all, the science of God is explained, and then the constitutional position of the living entity Jivas. There is a Ishvara, which means controller, and there is a Jiva, the living entities. Ishvara and Jiva. These two topics are explained. The living entity says that he is not controlled, but then there is then but that is he is free, then he is insane. He is insane. The living entity is controlled in every aspect, at least in this conditioned life. So the Bhagavad Gita is the subject matter, deals with Ishvara, the supreme controller, and the Jivas, the controlled living entities. Prakriti, material nature, yes.
Every aspect of the conditioned soul controlled.
Yes. So what we have is only free will. Otherwise, everything is controlled by Krishna. Your moments, your words, your speech. So you can only desire. That is the only thing.
What about the cases like the day?
We'll study that when we are studying karma. Let's not get into a topic now. Yes. Right. You desire, and that desire is sanctioned by God. So, like very simple example, you smoke, you want to go and smoke. So there is a knowledge provided to you that this is wrong. When somebody is doing that particular wrong activity, in knowledge or the inside voice also comes that this is wrong, don't do it. But then he's so much overpowered by the illusion, Maya, that he gets into it. Like smoking, you go and take a smoking pack, the cigar packet, it's written that smoking is injurious to health. There is a bhankar photo put that somebody can get a cancer. So knowledge is provided there also. Some knowledgeable person, friend, elderly person will come and don't do this. It's not right. So information is given to you that this is not right. Right and wrong information is always given to you. And that's why anybody who is above 5-year-old, any human being who is above 5-year-old is entitled for karma, is responsible for karma. Ignorance, somebody is in ignorance, he's not entitled for karma. That's why the animals, they don't get any karma for what they do. Because they are in illusion. They are completely in ignorance. They are ajnanmay. So similarly, the human being also till 5-year-old is considered as ignorant. So he does not get karma. Small child goes and crushes an ant. He's not going to get karma because he is in ignorance. But after 5-year-old, one who is in Kumara Avastha is considered person who understands what is right, what is wrong. So if somebody knows what is right and wrong, he has been given that particular free will to choose. Ye lena hai ke nahi lena hai. After that also, Upadrushta, Anumanta, Bharta, Bhokta. Krishna is spoken as Paramatma. What does that say? Upadrushta. He is observing. Anumanta. He is the one who is sanctioning your desire. So your desire is also sanctioned by Krishna. What you can do is only desire. Nothing else. So your desires are right or wrong based on whether you have accepted this knowledge or not. If you have accepted this particular knowledge wholeheartedly, you will have a right desires. If you are not accepted, if you are in completely in illusion, if you are overpowered by sense gratification, your desires will be wrong. Okay. But after that, you desire, and then that desire is sanctioned by Krishna. So you may say that, oh, that rape is sanctioned by Krishna. That's not right way of understanding or approaching Krishna. But yes, Krishna gave him right knowledge. Don't do it. This is wrong. Multiple places. He knows that I'm going to get punishment for that. He knows that there is a bad karma, whatever going to come. But still he wants to do it. Krishna doesn't stop it. Still want to smoke, Krishna doesn't stop it. Smoking is also sinful activity. But you want to do it, okay. Sanction. And once it is sanctioned, then you to get into a trap. Getting? Not convinced. We'll study about it detail.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Prathamesh, I have a doubt, Prabhu. So, Prabhuji, what's the difference between sanctioning by Krishna and based on our karma? So if I desire something, will it be based on karma or will it be dependent on only Krishna's sanction?
What you desire depends on your karma, like whatever baggage you are carrying. It is not only a karma, it is about, whatever impressions you have, whatever bad activities you have performed in last life, or whatever kind of culture you are living into, what kind of culture upbringing you are into. Multiple things are depend on your desire. And then if your desire is strong, you want to do it, that is sanctioned by Krishna. And that's why it's very careful to desire properly. We have to be extremely careful in desiring what you're desiring. Getting?
Okay, bro. Okay.
No. Whatever you have desired, please remember this always. This is very important point. It is generally said that around 7,000 desires pass in a day, 24 hours. All your desires are going to get fulfilled. And for that, you may have to take many lifetimes. In this life or some other life, your desire will get fulfilled. Like Gaur Gopal says, na, that joke. He said one person had a desire that he always wanted to be around woman. And he wanted to have a lot of cash. And then next life, his desire got fulfilled. He became a bus conductor of lady bus. There were always ladies around him, and he used to always handle cash. So whatever we desire, that's why we have to be extremely careful in what we are desiring. It is thought. Thought is not a desire. Some thought passes. So 7,000 thoughts are passing. In that, something we grab. Yes, I want to have this. Like, you go and see somebody wearing a Rolex, and they say, yaar, chahiye. So somehow, somewhere you're going to get it. For that, this life or next life, you'll get it. And that for that, whatever sufferings you have to go ahead with, you have to go ahead with. Yes. Kai? No, you have desired, that is stored. Whatever you have desired, ऊपर वाले ने उसको note करके रखा हुआ है. And then forget it. That's what I'm saying. There's a difference between thought and the desire. You thought something that I want to have it, but then you are not strongly desired for it. So that's how. That's what I'm saying, sir. What you are going through currently is all your past desires. Whatever you are attaining or what you are not attaining are your past desires. They are getting fulfilled. And you don't know how much baggage you are carrying. And for that, how many lifetimes you'll have to go ahead. So we have to stop. We have to have a spiritual desire. That's very important. Otherwise, this particular chakra is going to continue. You're going to desire, you're going to take birth, you're going to desire, you're going to take birth. This particular thing is going on for many lifetimes. We don't know how long. And it will go on. If you want to suffer here eternally, then continue desiring and continue fulfilling your desire. But you have somewhere you have to break, na? Because you are suffering here. This is non-existent. This is illusion. But in illusion, we are so much trapped that we want to go ahead. So you're just getting into trap more and more. दलदल जो होता है ना, जितना पैर मारोगे उतना फंस जाओगे, जितना डिजायर करोगे उतना इधर ही रहना पड़ेगा. So we have to come out of it. Take minute,
Roji, so whatever the things we are getting, it was like past life desire. Right?
Desire and karma.
Desire and karma. So again, whatever we have right now, we're desiring for something, but now we are getting knowledge that these things are not.
Right.
So whatever we have had that desire. So what about
so
that?
If your spiritual desire is strong, Krishna will fulfill that and you'll go back to God. Don't worry. That's why we have to have a very strong spiritual desire.
Okay, thank you.
That's what we can break. There only we can break this cycle. आता तुम्हाला काय विचारायचं? You want to ask something?
आता जर माझा डिझायर फुलफिल होतोय, पण त्याच्यामध्ये ना दुसरं कोणतरी एक्सप्लॉइट होतंय, तर त्याच्या फ्री विलच्या अपोजिट येते, मग त्याचं कर्म आहे का ते?
Yes, it is his bad karma. See, all this, you heard Chaitanya Charampul's class? Yeah. The complication of karma. Karma is a very complicated term. There are, in Bhagavad Gita, we'll study 5 definitions of karma in Bhagavad Gita. And there are many other things of karma related to karma. So karma is a very complicated thing. Whatever we can understand in our studies, that is good enough. Understand that somebody is suffering, it's a collective karma, it's the individual's karma, there are multiple things. So we can't actually go and judge. We can't go and actually find out scrutinity that what was the reason of somebody's being raped. It's going to be very complicated. Understand that it was bad karma of that person. It is wrong activity by this person and he's going to suffer for that. All varieties, different things. Okay? That's why in our life we should always remember, like I'll tell you one thing, like somebody has done something wrong to you, immediately thought comes is of revenge. Nahi छोड़ूंगा उसको, I'll take a revenge. You know what you are doing? You are becoming a medium of his karma. He has done some wrong activity, he is going to suffer in future for that. By interfering, by doing something wrong to him, by taking a revenge, you are becoming medium to that karma. So he is going to suffer for what he has done. You are thinking मैंने उसको मार दिया, I have done my job, I have taken the revenge. But just because of doing that particular activity, you are bringing karma to yourself. So we should, I always remind myself that I don't want to become a medium of somebody's karma. He has to suffer that karma, he'll suffer sometime. But I am becoming medium, he is suffering, and because of that medium, I am going to get in return for me also something. Okay, so don't become medium of karma. We'll understand it. Let's complete the introduction. I have to complete introduction today. Okay, so then further is Prakriti, material nature, time, the duration of existence of whole universe or the manifestation of material nature, and karma, activity, are also discussed. So 5 topics of Bhagavad Gita: Jiva, Ishvara, Prakriti, Kala, Karma. Okay. So if somebody asks you what is Bhagavad Gita, we should be able to tell that these are the 5 topics of Bhagavad Gita spoken. And what is the essence of Bhagavad Gita? Sarva dharman parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha ishami ma. Some people also say that manmanabho madbhakto madhyaji mamnoskar is the essence, but that is not the all in all. So essence is sarva dharman parityaja. ठीक है. Out of these 5 topics of subject matter of Bhagavad Gita, it is established that Supreme God, Supreme Godhead, or Krishna, or Brahman, or the Supreme Controller, or Paramatma, you may use whatever name you like, is the greatest of all. The living beings are quality like the Supreme Law of Godhead. For instance, the Lord has control over the universal affairs of material nature, as will be explained in the later chapters of Bhagavad Gita. Material nature is not independent. She is acting under the direction of Supreme Lord. My adhyakshana Prakriti, Krishna says that she is acting under my adhyakshata, my control. As Lord Sri Krishna says, my adhyakshana Prakriti swete sa characharam. The material nature is working under my direction. So even Maya, the material nature, is also not independent. She is also controlled by Krishna. And then, like, Balganpur used to give a very nice example. You are standing in a window, somebody is standing in a window, and there is a cat down. And then somebody takes a stick and then pokes a stick to that cat. What is the reaction of cat? She'll start fighting with that stick. She will not think that somebody else is doing that particular activity. So Maya Adhyakshana Prakriti, Krishna is saying that I am the controller. But then unfortunately what we think, that Maya is all in all. This particular illusion is all in all. And then we keep doing something, some activity with that illusion. But then there is a supreme controller, that is Krishna. When we see wonderful things happening in the cosmic nature, we should know that behind this cosmic manifestation, there is a controller. Nothing can be manifested without being controlled. It is childish not to consider the controller. For instance, child may think that an automobile is quite wonderful, not able to run without the horse or another animal pulling. But sane man knows the nature of automobile's engineering arrangement. He always knows that behind the machinery, there is a man, a driver. Similarly, the Supreme Lord is a driver under whose direction everything is working. So, Supreme Lord is the one who is controlling everything. He is the Supreme Controller. Now, the Jivas or the living entities have been accepted by the Lord. So, now here, there may be 2 thoughts. That Supreme Lord is controller. Ye injustice hai. He is controller. He is only controlling everything. He is only doing everything. He has not given any rights to me. This is a one way of understanding a Supreme Lord being controller. That is atheist understanding. That is not a theist understanding. And the person who is theist, he will say, okay, he is the controller. Let me be controlled by him. So we being a devotee of Krishna, when we say that Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, what we are saying? Oh Radharani, oh Krishna, please engage me in your service. So when we are saying that please engage me in your service, that means you are giving everything to him. Like a servant, Ramu, who is in the house. What he does, he's cleaning everything, he's doing everything, and he's going and asking Lord. He's going and asking his master that, बताओ मुझे क्या करना है. And then he says, ये करो वो करो immediately. And he's completely surrendered to him. खाना मिलेगा तो खाएगा, नहीं मिलेगा नहीं खाए. So similarly, we are also, if we are being a servant, we are going to be in a happy position. This Ramu is not having an insecurity. मेरा क्या होगा, मुझे खाना मिलेगा क्या नहीं, मेरा बैंक बैलेंस का क्या, ये वो, so many things. But a person who is trying to be controller, he's having a lot of anxiety. He's saying that no, I will have an independent. He's saying that he's not giving me any opportunity. I will have an independent, planet. And that's how we left Krishna, thinking that I will have my independent planet. I don't want to be controlled by him. I want to be controller. And then we came here. So one who is having this understanding will suffer. One who is having this understanding that, okay, I'm servant of Krishna, will not suffer. I give this example of Ambani and Ambani's driver. Ambani's driver is driving Ambani's car. Ambani is telling, Gani lagao. He's putting FM or 93, whatever. And he's putting some songs. And he says, AC chalu karo, AC chalu kar diya. And there is nice, very peaceful car. Driver is serving Ambani and enjoying the cars, all the products of the car. But next day, Ambani, after dropping Ambani to him, he, instead of parking in the car parking area, he took the car, he went to his home, he told his wife, get ready, we'll go to Lonavala. And they have fun. Before he reaches to Lonavala, police have already reached to the Lonavala to catch him. And then he's put under the bar for stealing the car. So there are two activities. One is saying that why should I be Ambani's driver control? I will enjoy. Then what happens? He has to be under the bar and suffer. Behind the bar and suffer. But when he is with Ambani, he's enjoying all the facilities. So when you say that Krishna is the supreme controller, we have to have this understanding that let me be controlled by Krishna. When you say Gopir Bhartur Padakamalayur Das Dasana Das, we are announcing to the world, we are announcing to Krishna, we are announcing to Gopis, we are announcing to all the devotees that I, not the enjoyer, I am to be enjoyed. I am not the controller, I am to be controlled by Krishna and his devotees. That's very important. The next, now the jivas or the living entities have been accepted by the Lord, as we will note in the later chapter, as is part and parcel. A particle of a gold is also gold. A drop of a water in the ocean is also salty. Similarly, we the living entities, being a part and parcel of the Supreme Controller, Ishvara or Bhagwan, Lord Sri Krishna, have all qualities of the Supreme Lord in minute quantity, because we are minute Ishvara, subordinate Ishvara. We are trying to control nature. As presently we are trying to control space or planet. This tendency of control is there because it is in Krishna. But although we have a tendency to lord it over the material nature, we should know that we are not the supreme controller. This is explaining Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita is explaining that we are not the supreme controller. We are Anu, small Ishvara, minute Ishvara. Prabhupada used to always quote him. We are Anu, we are minute Ishvara, and Krishna is Param Ishvara, he is Vibhu, is a supreme controller. What is material nature? Prakruti. This is also explaining Gita as an inferior Prakruti, inferior nature. Further, Prakruti is also inferior, means subordinate. Predominant by the Lord, who is a predominator. Aprameya itastu anve prakrutim vidhime param jiva bhutam. This material nature is in my inferior prakriti, but beyond this is also a prakriti, jiva bhutam, the living entity. So prakriti, when we are studying, we are going to study, there is tatastha shakti, there is antaranga shakti, and there is bahiranga shakti. So these are different shaktis. We will study more about these shaktis in NOD also. But then mainly Prakriti here, what is spoken in Bhagavad Gita is about the material nature. And when Vibhutis of Krishnas are spoken, that is a spiritual nature. that is Antaranga Shaktis are explained. And then the living entity is Tatastha, बीच के. लोकनाथ महाराज nicely explain. हम बीच के हैं. मतलब बीच मतलब आप बीच पे जाते हो ना, वो वाला. वो बीच है where it's neither dry, it's neither wet. Right? There is an ocean, that is Antaranga Shakti. There is a dry area, land, that is Bahiranga Shakti. And then we are in between, that is on the beach. So we are Tatastha, Tata ke upar hai, Tatastha Shakti. So we will be studying that also in this particular topic. Material nature itself is constituted by three qualities: the modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance. Above these modes, there is an eternal time. And by the combination of these modes of material nature under the control of purview of eternal time, there are activities which are called karma. Which shloka talks about Prakriti and three modes of material nature? Prakriti kriyamanani gune karmani sarvashaha ahankara vimudatma karta aham iti manyate. Prakriti kriyamanani. Prakriti is kriyaman, active. Through what? Three modes of material nature: passion, ignorance, and goodness. Further, Ishvara, the Supreme Lord, Jiva, the Prakriti, which is Jiva, the living entity, Prakriti, nature, Kala, eternal time, Karma, activity, are all explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Out of these five, the Lord, the living entities, material nature, time are eternal. The manifestation of Prakriti may be temporary, but it is not false. So, out of these five topics, please remember, understand this particular thing, which is important. Out of these five topics, which are the permanent eternal topics, eternal things? Other than Prakriti, everything is permanent. It is eternal. So Prakriti is not eternal. So is she false? No, this is not mithya. That is Shankaracharya said, na, this Jagan mithya. That this Brahma Satya, Jagan mithya. That Brahma is Satya, absolute truth is there, and this particular word is mithya, which is not the all in all. This particular material nature is not false. It is creation of Krishna. It is under the direction of Krishna. So this is not to be considered as false, but this material nature is not eternal. So that also we'll study. Lord, living entities, material nature, and time are eternal. So please read this introduction properly, because you are going to get questions from this introduction also. Next page. The supreme conscious Ishvara is similar to the living entities in this way. Both the consciousness of the Lord and that of the living entity are transcendental. So we say, what is the form of a living entity and the Supreme Lord? We say Satchid Ananda. So Satchid Ananda Vigraha, we say that Supreme Lord is Satchid Ananda. It's eternal, it's full of knowledge, and it's full of bliss. Similarly, the living entity is also eternal, full of knowledge, and full of bliss. So that's why Prabhupada is mentioning both the consciousness of the Lord and the living entities are transcendental. It is not that the consciousness is generated by the association of matter. That is a mistaken idea. The theory that consciousness develop under the certain circumstances of a material combination is not accepted in Bhagavad Gita. Consciousness may be perverted reflection by covering the material circumstances, just as light reflected through the colored glass may appear to be certain color, but the consciousness of the Lord is not materially affected. So if the in the consciousness of a living entity and consciousness of a Lord, there's a difference. Like it is said, when the living entity falls first time from the spiritual world to the material world, the example is given of a rain. When there is a rainwater, when there is a raindrop, when the raindrop falls, it is pure. As soon as it comes in a touch with the mud, it becomes impure. Right? Similarly, the living entity, when it was not in the touch with the material consciousness, it was pure. And as soon as it came in touch with the material world, illusion, it became impure. But that is not the case with Supreme Lord. And that's why Prabhupada is giving example. If there is a colored glass and the light is reflected, the light appears to be red, green, yellow, blue. But then light is different, light is light. So Supreme Controller, even if it is touched by the material consciousness, it does not become impure. So we cannot bring Krishna to our level. That's the understanding. So there is they both are transcendental, they both are pure. But as soon as the living entity, Tatastha Shakti, comes in contact with the Bahiranga Shakti, it is impure, it is corrupt, it is over, it's the covering comes on it. The pure state is there, the soul, which is completely pure. But there is so much of covering, because of that, it appears to be impure. It comes in a contact and it becomes muddy. So that is not the case with the Supreme Lord. So this is the difference also has to be remembered. So we, as soon as we go on removing the covering, our pure state is going to be revealed. The living entity which is pure is going to be revealed. So we have to remove the impure state. You remember in your, when you were small, we did that experiment, ink water. You took 2 glasses, and then we were pouring the pure water in that ink water, and then after pouring water for a long time, that ink water also became pure. So similarly, as soon as we go on purifying ourselves, remove the coverings by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We are going to be pure. Any question?
सगळ्यांवर affect होतं, जसं आपण पाहतो की काही जण जन्मतः शुद्ध होत असतात.
So if somebody is sent by Krishna, somebody is empowered, a person, his consciousness is not affected. But then because he is a living entity and he has to live like a normal living entity, we may say that he is going through suffering. Now in this question, 2 understandings may come, that why do they suffer there? So they may, because they are here, they may suffer. They are not suffering for their past karmas. It's in fact, that's why it is said that it's their lila, it's their pastime. So I'm talking about pure devotees. I'm not talking about our. So because they have to live with the normal living entities, they may have to go through some things. So those who are born pure, those who are pure devotee, or they are sent by Krishna. Like Tukaram Maharaj was personally sent by Krishna. There is this, if you read this book of Tukaram by Sant Tukaram by Vrindavan Prabhu, he writes there that, he was in Vaikunta, there was a meeting going on, and then Lord Vishnu was asking, Panduranga was asking that who can go? And everybody said, no, we don't want to go to that material world. It's horrible. And then Tukaram Maharaj, he said, okay, fine, I'll accept. And that's why Sadeha he went, that means he had that particular form there. And that's how he went, and that's how he came also. And then he came here, then he had to go through the pain of birth, he had to go through the poverty, he had to go through, defaming by people, so many things he had to go. So in this state, externally he was affected. It was seen that, he had to go through the disease, that, all this. But internally his consciousness was not affected. Internally his consciousness was pure. So through this example, we understand that those who are personally sent by Krishna, or those who come for the mission, externally it may be appeared in this world because being a part of this material, because people will not understand only. No? Somebody may say that they did not have suffering, that's why it was very easy for them. And that's why they could tell the existence of God. So it is all created. In their situation, the situations are created. Some people who become pure, and they have gone through the last lives, whatever, good, bad karma, and then eventually they become a pure devotee. And so that's why their suffering also comes for their whatever has happened. Okay, so this is a part of suffering on it. And another part is of consciousness. So their consciousness remains pure. Yes.
So Prabhuji, like
in case of Srila Prabhupada also, if you go to in Srinagar, they had made a very nice life sketch of Prabhupada. And in that, they had written that in this particular age, in this particular year, Prabhupada was given this name. Another year, Prabhupada used to worship Radha Govindji. Another year, so since his childhood, he pulled a Rath Yatra. the first Rath Yatra in his childhood. So those activities, like he used to go and see the charts of the trains going from Kolkata to Jagannath Puri, where Prabhupada never went to Jagannath, but he had strong desire and strong connection with Jagannath. Or his father was a pure devotee of Krishna, and he would call sadhus and ask for the blessing. And then at the age of 21, he getting introduced to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And then after that, so much dedication for the movement for 40 years in India. And then another 11 years of spreading Krishna consciousness all over the world. He's writing the books. When Prabhupada wrote the books, we were studying in our Bhagavatam study circle. That, these books are written by Prabhupada. Prabhupada writes, I have not written these books. Krishna has personally written. So we see when this whole life sketch is understood of Prabhupada, we understand that yes, he is the embodied Acharya. He's sent by Krishna. He has come here for, establishment of this particular Siddhanta. Okay. Yes, sir.
So Prabhuji, like in Bhagavatam, like Narasimhadev and Prahlad Maharaj Leela, Prahlad Maharaj said about his father, like that time Narasimhadev says ki you are 7 like generation 21 generation. Like those were Shuddha Bhakta, the 21 generations go back to Godhead, right?
When it is said that 21 generations are delivered, that does not mean everybody goes to Vaikuntha. Their human birth is fixed and their consciousness is evolved. The Uddhar matlab, their whatever degraded consciousness, maybe consciousness of a demon, consciousness of a, Punanda Pulkasha or whatever, Andhra, Purnanda Pulkasha, Chandara. From their consciousness, they come to a goodness level or a human level. Or somebody who is already in that situation of goodness or human level will also get elevated further. So deliverance of 21 generation does not mean that because he has become a pure devotee, all the 21 generation will go to Vaikuntha. It's not like that.
Because right now, if you heard the news, Tukaram Maharaj, Tukaram Maharaj's Vanshas madle
He committed
suicide. So what will happen? Like
that, I'm not a judge to tell what will happen to him. Okay. Let's not get into somebody who did what and what will happen or who will go. We cannot understand that. Who has gone where. Okay, let's go ahead.
मग तो थॉट तर मला स्पिरिच्युअल वर्ल्ड मध्ये आला ना.
बरोबर. How much time it takes from spiritual world to material? And in fact, there is no time only. As soon as you are thought, you are drop into the material world. You are part of this material world. It's like a dream situation. You are sleeping, you get into a dream. In the dream, you see something happening. You going to some other world. You're into that magical world. There are all stars around and all of that. And then somebody wakes you up and you come back to your position. It's like that. Being into the material world is like a dream. Okay. How much time it takes to go to the dream? Yeah, how much time it takes to go to the dream? So as soon as you decide, I want to be separate from Krishna, you are a part of material world.
Oh.
And you're contaminated. Your consciousness is contaminated. So we can't say that, like we see now, there is this rocket which is launched and then it takes this few 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 1 hour. It's not like that. As soon as the thought, you are a part of material world. Okay, let's go ahead. So please read ahead. It's all about consciousness. So please read that part. It's very important. In the consciousness part, what is this consciousness? We'll read. The I in contaminated consciousness, I am means I am the Lord of the all I survey. I am the enjoyer. The world revolves because every living entity begins being thinks that he is the Lord and the creator of the material world. Material consciousness has two psychic divisions. One is that I am the creator and the other is I am the enjoyer. But actually the Supreme Lord is both the creator and the enjoyer. The living entities, being a part and parcel of Supreme Lord, is neither the creator nor the enjoyer, but a cooperator. Yesterday, Chaitanya Charampapu was giving a nice definition of cooperator. He said, cooperator. You cooperate. You go along with. Or there is co-operator. CO, co-operator. That you are operating separately. So we are not co-operator, we are cooperator. We are together. For instance, a part of a machine cooperates with the whole machine. A part of the body cooperates with the whole body. The hands, legs, eyes, and so on are all part of the body, but they are not actually the enjoyer. The stomach is the enjoyer. You must have heard this Prabhupada's example, property made. The legs and hands, they say that we are on strike because we are not given the food directly. Why the stomach is only fed? Why stomach should always be enjoying? If you see the mouth is the teeth are chewing, the tongue is tasting, hands are bringing the food, eating, legs are putting endeavor to get the food, and ultimately, where the food is going? Stomach, and stomach is in there. So everybody is on strike. Eyes, teeth, everybody said we will not eat. What is going to happen? The enjoyer, the stomach is not going to get it.
बंद झालं ना व्हिडिओ हो मिस्टर गोमन
कॉल कर त्याला कॉल कर
होईल चालेल BBR with us from Goman. कट करतोय कृष्णा कॉल कट करतोय का करत असेल काहीतरी प्रोसेस
त्यांनी ऐकलं नाही ना मागचा क्लास
चुक केलं ना क्लासच्या बाहेर जायचं.
झालं का The impersonal Brahman is shining rays of the Supreme Person of Godhead. The impersonal Brahman is the incomplete realization of the absolute whole. And so also is the conception of Paramatma. So now Prabhupada is talking about the three stages or the three swarupa of absolute truth, three natures of absolute truth. Which are the three natures of absolute truth? Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavaniti Shabdate. Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. So Prabhupada is clearly mentioning here the Brahman and impersonal Brahman and Paramatma are not complete. Bhagavan is the complete state of the absolute truth. So as explained in the 15th chapter, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Purushottama, is about the both impersonal Brahman and the partial realization of Paramatma. So here further Prabhupada is talking a lot about this. So please study that. Last line of this particular page. All Vedic knowledge is infallible, and Hindus accept this Vedic knowledge to be complete and infallible. For example, cow dung is the stool of an animal. According to Smriti or in Vedic injection, if one touches a stool of an animal, he has to take bath to purify himself. But in the Vedic scripture, cow dung is considered to be a purifying agent. One might consider this is the contradictory, but it is accepted because it is a Vedic injection. So Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate, when we say that, the knowledge coming, the Vedas have come from Krishna. So the Vedic knowledge is complete. It is perfect. So this particular example is spoken here by Prabhupada, that if you touch the stool of animal, so we have to take bath, we have to purify ourselves. But if you touch a cow dung, it purifies you. So this is Vedic injunction. Like if you touch a bone, you have to take bath. But then conch is what? Shankha is bone. And Shankh is used in deity worship. Cow dung is used in deity worship. So even Ganga, we studied in NOI also, that the Ganges water is so pure that what people do, even if there's a stool passing, or even if there is a mud passing, foam passing, they keep it aside, they move it aside, and they dip into Ganga because it's going to purify. So this is what it is spoken in the Vedic injunction. It may appear contradictory, but Vedic injunctions are perfect. It is complete. So we have to accept this. So it is infallible knowledge. The Vedic knowledge is infallible. Similarly, the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is infallible. Subsequently, it has been proven by the modern science the cow dung contains all antiseptic properties. So Vedic knowledge is complete because it is above all the doubts, mistakes, and Bhagavad Gita is the essence of Vedic knowledge. Kali Yuga people are considered as, we studied in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. Prayana Alpayusha, Manda Samanda Matayo, Manda Bhaga Upadruta. So I just, a few days before, I saw a video of Upadravi people. हम मराठी में म्हणतो ना उपद्रवी लिव्हिंग इन इट. So Kali Yuga people are Manda Sumanda Matayo, Manda Bhagya Upadruta. They are Manda, they are less intelligent. They are Durbhagi, Manda Sumanda Matayo, Manda Bhagya Upadruta. Upadruta means Upadravi. They do any Upadravi activity. So I just remember, like, any stool you touch, it is contaminated, it is impure. But nowadays there is some kind of coffee which comes that those coffee beans are fed to some sheep, and then that sheep's stool, cat, and then that cat stool is considered as the costliest coffee in the world. So coffee beans are fed to the cat, and then cat eats, and then they're not beans, that whatever comes out is used in the coffee particle, and that is considered as the costliest coffee, the best coffee in the world. How can people even think about it? So the Kali Yuga people are so upadravi. They can do any nonsense. And then for them, that is costly thing, that is pure, that is very nice. They will not think about hygiene, this and that. But when it comes to cow dung, oh, it's unhygienic. Oh, it's dirty. It's smelling so bad. Or it's following some Vedic injunctions like this, they'll say it's contradictory. How can you say this? No, you accept it. You are accepting any nonsense. Better accept this Vedic injunction. Vedic knowledge is not a question of research. Our research work is imperfect because we are researching things with imperfect senses. So research means which is already existing. You are again researching it. You are refounding it. So Vedic knowledge there is no need of research in Vedic knowledge. We don't have to do any research in Vedic knowledge. We are not capable enough to understand the complete whole. Our research work is imperfect because we are researching things with imperfect senses. We have to receive knowledge from the proper source in a disciplic succession, beginning with the Supreme Spiritual Master, Lord Himself, and handed down to the succession of a spiritual masters. Arjuna, the student who took lessons from Lord Sri Krishna, accept everything that he says without contradicting him. One is not allowed to accept one portion of Bhagavad Gita and not another. No, we must accept Bhagavad Gita without interpretation, without deletion, without our own whimsical participation in the matter. Somebody is saying Bhagavad Gita is all about ahimsa. How many times word ahimsa comes in Bhagavad Gita? Only one time. There is only one. When the divine qualities are explained, the one quality which is explained is ahimsa. And that person said, I carry Bhagavad Gita in my life, and I have studied Bhagavad Gita, and while dying, I was having Bhagavad Gita, whatever. And what he understood Bhagavad Gita is ahimsa. That is non-violence. And what happened after the end of Bhagavad Gita? All violence. After teaching Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna, what he did, he went on killing thousands of people. So Bhagavad Gita is all about ahimsa? No. Another powerful freedom fighter from Pune said that Bhagavad Gita is all about karma yoga. I understand Bhagavad Gita is karma yoga. So he understood Bhagavad Gita, but partially, not complete. He said that, Swaraj ha maza janma siddha adhikara hai ani to mi milonarच. But then what happened? He understood Bhagavad Gita is karma yoga. Karmanye vadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. There only Bhagavad Gita ended, which is a part of 3rd chapter. Further on, he did not go on explaining about it. But Bhagavad Gita is 18th chapter. Or Dr. Radhakrishna's Bhagavad Gita is one of the famous Bhagavad Gita during Prabhupada's time. In fact, Prabhupada also in the initial times would refer shlokas from Dr. Radhakrishna's Bhagavad Gita. But then what he understood, Man mana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji pamnasko. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, when Krishna is saying this shloka, Krishna is actually putting his hand like this on his chest. Man mana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji pamnasko. You worship me. You offer obeisances to me. You do my devotional service. So he is saying that he is talking about the light inside that person, Krishna. Krishna is not supreme. The light inside that person, Krishna, is supreme. So you just understood the incomplete part of the absolute truth, that is Brahman. And then you say that's all in all. So that's why Bhagavad Gita has to be studied in a right disciplic succession. That's very important. Then only we can understand this knowledge. And that's why Prabhupada named this Bhagavad Gita as Bhagavad Gita as it is. So we must accept Bhagavad Gita, important statement by Prabhupada, without interpretation, without deletion, without our own whimsical participation in that matter. So this is very, very important book, and we cannot compromise. We cannot say, I just like Sarvadharman Parityaj, just it is the essence, so I'll just study that. No. We have to study about everything. We have to study about Kala, Karma, Prakriti, everything in detail. Prabhuji told in the beginning of the class that Bhagavad Gita has 3 parts, and the main jewel is the middle 6 chapters, 7 to 12. So I'll just study Bhakti Yoga. I'll not study other things. Karma and Jnana is not my topic. No, we have to study Karma and Jnana also. First 6 chapter is about Karma Yoga, middle 6 chapter is about Bhakti Yoga, and the last 6 chapter is about Jnana Yoga. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives example of a case, which is a golden case, golden dabba, which the upper lid is Karma Yoga, the down lid is Jnana Yoga, but there is a precious jewel kept in that box. That is Bhakti Yoga, the middle 6 chapters. Vedic knowledge is not, Gita should be taken as the most perfect presentation of a Vedic knowledge. Vedic knowledge is received from the transcendental source. The first word were spoken by the Lord himself. The words spoken by the Lord are called apurusheya, meaning that they are different from the words spoken by the praised person of a mundane world who is infected with the 4 defects. A mundaner is sure to commit mistake, is invariably illusioned, has a tendency to cheat others, and is limited by the imperfect senses. With these 4 imperfections, one cannot deliver perfect information of all pervading knowledge. So which are the 4 defects?
Imperfect senses.
Imperfect senses,
Tendency to get illusion.
tendency to illusion,
It cheats.
commit mistake, and cheating tendency, cheating propensity. These are the 4 defects. Vedic knowledge is not imparted by such a defective living entities. It was imparted unto the heart of Brahma, the first created living being. Tene Brahma Hrudaye Adi Kavaye Muyyanti Yat Suraya Vedo Vari Musha Vinimayo Yatra Tri Sargo Musha. Anyway, Vedic knowledge was first given to Brahma, the first created being. Brahma, in his turn, disseminated this knowledge to his son and the disciple, as he originally received it from the Lord. The Lord is a Purnam, all perfect. There is no possibility of his becoming subjected to the laws of material nature. One should therefore be intelligent enough to know that the Lord is the only proprietor of everything in the universe and that he is the original creator, the creator of Brahma. In 11th chapter, the Lord is addressed as Parapitamaha, because Brahma is addressed as Pitamaha, the grandfather, and he is the creator of the grandfather. So no one should claim to be a proprietor of everything. One should accept only things set aside for him by the Lord as his quota for his maintenance. Which shloka?
First one.
Shloka.
ईशावास्यमिदं
सर्वं यत् किंचित जगताम जगत तेन भुंजिता. Very good. So one should only one should accept only things set aside for him by the Lord as his quota for his maintenance. So we saw the Sambandha, that is the 5 topics of Bhagavad Gita, which is Sambandha. Then the process will be studied, and the last thing, which is Prayojan, we'll study that now. Okay? In the introduction, Prabhupada is quoting all. The next paragraph, in this world, men are not meant for quarreling like cats and dogs. Men must be intelligent to realize the importance of a human life and refuse to act like ordinary animals. The human being should realize the aim of his life, and this direction is given in all Vedic literatures, and the essence is given in Bhagavad Gita. The Vedic literature is meant for human beings, not for animals. Animals can kill other living animals, and there is no question of sin on their part. But if a man kills an animal for the satisfaction of his uncontrolled taste, he must be responsible for breaking the laws of nature. In Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly explained that there are 3 kinds of activities according to different modes of nature: activity of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Similarly, there are 3 kinds of eatables also: goodness, passion, ignorance. All of these clearly described if we properly utilize the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, then our whole life will become purified, and ultimately we will be able to reach the destination which is beyond this material sky. So what is the destination? Beyond this material sky, that is Golok Vrindavan, Vaikuntha. So that is the Prayojan. The destination is called Sanatan sky. Sambandha is explained, then Abhidheya and Prayojan. Prayojan is, the destination is what? Sanatan, the eternal spiritual sky. In this material world, we find everything is temporary. It comes into being, stays for some time, produces some byproduct, dwindles, and then vanishes. So these are 6 stages. 6 stages of a growth of a human living. How this is how a human being or the living entity grows. Which are those 6 stages? It comes into being, Janma, stays for some time, then produces some byproduct, dwindles, and then vanishes. comes into being, stays for some time, produces some byproducts, dwindles. 5. That is the law of a material world. Whether we use, as an example, this body or piece of the fruit or anything, but beyond this temporary world, there is another world of which we have information. That world consists of another nature, which is Sanatan, eternal. The Jiva is also described as Sanatan, eternal. The Lord is also described as Sanatan in the 11th chapter. We have an intimate relationship with the Lord, and because we are all qualitatively one, the Sanatan Dharma or the sky, the Sanatan Supreme Personality or the Sanatan living entity, the whole purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to revive our Sanatan occupation or Sanatan Dharma, which is eternal occupation of the living entity. Okay, so we have to accept Sanatan Dharma. So accepting Sanatan Dharma, then what we have to do? We have to go and call everyone. We are Sanatanis. Let's fight for Sanatan. No, we have to follow this Sanatan Dharma.
Wow.
Yes, Dharma Rakshati Rakshata. For that, we have to follow Dharma. आहे कोट केलेलं कुठे. Okay, next. We are temporarily engaged in different activities, but all of these activities can be purified when we give up all these temporary activities and take the activity which is prescribed by the Supreme Lord. That is called our pure life. So what is the pure life? We have to give up these temporary activities and accept the permanent activity of attaining Krishna. Lord is very kind to the living entities, next paragraph, because they are all his sons. Lord Krishna declares in Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Yoneshu Aham Bija Prajapita. I am the father of all. I am the seed-giving father of all living entity. Of course, there are all types of living entities according to the various karmas, but here Lord claims that he is the father of all of them. Therefore, the Lord descends to reclaim all the fallen, conditioned soul, to call them back to Sanatan, eternal sky, so that the Sanatan living entities may regain their eternal Sanatan position in the eternal association of the Lord. So this particular thing but talks about Sanatana, and further what is Sanatan, what is non-Sanatan is explained. Please read this. There's a discussion between Sanatan Goswami and Lord Chaitanya, which is talking about Sanatan Swarup, eternal position of a living entity, is also explained. Please read that also. Page number 19. Lord descends to this material world to show his pastime in Vrindavan, which are all full of happiness. Found it? This particular paragraph? Huh? One page is next page. After this sloka of Kamasteter Titar Jnana Prapadyante. So after that, there is next paragraph. The Lord descends to this material world. Found it?
Yes, yes.
Lord descends to this material world to show his pastime in Vrindavan, which are full of happiness. When Lord Sri Krishna was in Vrindavan, his activities with his cowherd boyfriends, with his damsel friends, with other inhabitants of Vrindavan, and with the cows were all full of happiness. The total population of Vrindavan knew nothing but Krishna. But Lord Krishna even discouraged his father Nanda Maharaj from the worshipping demigod Indra, because he wanted to establish the fact the people need not worship any demigods. They need only worship the Supreme Lord, because their ultimate goal is to return to his abode. The abode of Lord Sri Krishna is described in Bhagavad Gita, 15th chapter, 6th verse. Na tad bhase to suryo, na shashanko na pavaka, yad gatva nivartante, tad dhama paramam mama. That supreme abode of mine is not illuminated by sun or moon, nor by the fire or electricity. Those who reach it never returns to his material world. So this particular discussion will also come in Bhagavad Gita of demigod worship and worshipping Supreme Lord. We have to worship Supreme Lord, and there is supreme destination where it is spoken about the Sanatan sky, the prayojan in this particular shloka. Na tad bhaseto surya na shashanko na pavaka yad gatvana nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. That particular dham is mine. Paramam mama is param, it's absolute truth. Once you go there, you will not return back. And how is this? There is no need of electricity. It's self illuminated, effulgent. Na tad bhasayato suryo na shashanko na pav. There is no need of shashanka or moon, or there is no need of sun. So this particular verse gives the description of an eternal sky. Talks about Swarupa. You can read that. There is all discussion of Sanatan and non-Sanatan Dharma. So that there is discussion come. Okay, this particular discussion goes on ahead also with discussion of spiritual sky, Golok Vrindavan, Vaikuntha planet. Please read that. Then we will study this particular thing, how to apply this knowledge. Now we saw Sambandha, we saw Prayojan. Now comes Abhideya. How to apply this knowledge. 5 topics of Bhagavad Gita is Sambandha. Prayojan is to attaining the eternal sky. Now we'll study how to apply this particular knowledge. The Lord suggests that we attain the spiritual world in the following manner. Bhagavad Gita 15.15. Found it? Please go through that. Next, page number 21 in my book. Yes, Nirmana Moha Jata Singha Dosha. Nirmana Moha Jata Sangha Dosha Adhyatma Nitya Viruddha Kama Dvandvair Vimukte Sukha Dukha Samner Gachanti Amudha Padam Apandita. The Padam, Avyayam, or the eternal kingdom can be reached by one who is Nirmana Moha. By who can attend? Or just we going through? Who can attend the absolute, the spiritual sky? Nirmana Moha. What does this mean? We are after the designation. Someone wants to become Sir. Someone wants to become Lord. Someone wants to become President, or rich man, or the king, or something else. As long as we are attached to these designations, we are attached to the body, because designation belongs to body. But we are not this body, and realizing this fact is the first stage in a spiritual realization. So, process is to realize, I am not this body, I am soul. I am not controller. These designations does not belong to me. We were doing book distribution in schools. I was very shocked to see the principal's board. In that principal's board, his name was written, Dr. So and so, and then he had written BA, MA, MPhil, and then B.Ed, and then he went on writing. So there are around 17 degrees he had written. 17 degrees he had achieved. And he was so proud to write all those degrees. This big was that nameplate outside that class or principal's office. So we are attached to Padavis, we are attached to our designation. First designation is I am human, second is I am man, I am woman, and third is all varieties of designation we go on carrying, and then we call ourselves engineer, doctor, father, son, so many designations we go on carry, and then we are attached to those designations. So Nirmana Moha Jatasanga Dosha. This Moha is very bad. And because of this Moha, because of this attachment, we are trapped into this material world. So we have to first understanding to how we can apply this knowledge is by the first realization is because designation belongs to the body, but we are not this body, and the realizing this is the first stage of spiritual understanding, spiritual realization. We are associated with the 3 modes of material nature, but we must become detached through devotional service of the Lord. If we are not attached to the devotional service of the Lord, then we cannot become detached from the material nature. So we discussed about the story of Janak Maharaja's assembly. in the assembly of Janak Maharaj, Ashtavakra Muni comes and there is a discussion going on how to be detached. We are talking about detachment from the designation, right? So there is a discussion going on that let's become detached, and then all great sadhus are sitting there, all rishis and all panditas are sitting, and they are giving the big definition how to become detached. And then Ashtavakra Muni comes there, and then Janak Maharaj welcomes him, makes him sit on an asana, washes his feet, and then after doing all that, he asks a question: can you please explain us how to become detached from this material designation, material world? He gets up from the seat and starts running. He goes out of his mahal, assembly hall, mahal, and then he goes to the garden. And after going to the garden, what he does? He embraces the tree very tightly. Or after embracing, leave me, leave me, leave me, leave me, he shouts. तो लोग बोलते हैं what is this? It's inconceivable, difficult to understand. What is he exactly trying to do? Some people say कुछ असर हो गया क्या? Is he gone crazy? And then after a long time, Janak Maharaj goes and say that you are only tied up, you are only caught hold of that tree. How can you say leave him, leave him? You have to leave, you have to release. So immediately he says, that's what you want to become detached. You have to become detached. You have to release it. That's the way. That's how you can release yourself. So I hope you understood. So Prabhupada is writing here, unless and until you practice a spiritual life, you cannot become detached. So there is a marg of naiti marg. False. Everything is false. Everything is wrong. Nothing exists. And then you become detached. Just. Or Gyani have this part that they control senses and they follow detachment. But that detachment goes on for not for long time. Like Mauni Baba. Prabhupada give example of a Mauni Baba. Mauni Baba, they say that we don't want to speak. We don't speak. Then what they do? They take a slate and pencil and they keep on writing. Party pencil leke wo likhna chalu kar do. So that is another way of speaking. So unless and until you practice a devotional life, unless and until you practice spiritual life, you cannot become detached. Like Prabhupada, just 1 minute. Prabhupada says that the sense gratification and Krishna consciousness go ill together. They don't go parallelly. Sense gratification and Krishna consciousness हाथ में हाथ मिला के साथ में नहीं जाता है कभी. They go ill together. Similarly, the spiritual life and material life will not go together. You can't say that I'll enjoy material life also and I'll practice spiritual life also. As soon as you practice spiritual life, your material interest will go. Your material attachment will release. You will become detached from this world. And for that, you have to increase your spiritual practice if we are interested to detach ourselves. So first thing we studied about, we are not this body, we are soul. That is the first way of attaining this, practicing this knowledge. Second is to practice spiritual life strongly so that we become detached from this material designation. Yes, bro. So tapasya is not our form. Being detached, being aimless, like there is bullseye. Like you are in a shooting game, and then you shoot exactly on the bullseye. You understand bullseye? You have to hit in the center, and you get 10 marks for that. But you're shooting, and then you say now, why that bullseye is like that? It's there. I want it there, so you move it there. Or without a bullseye, you keep on hitting anywhere, and will you get a marks? Will you get a medal? No. So these people, they're shooting, doing some tapasya, shooting at anywhere. It's aimless, goalless. What is the use of that? Another thing is that this particular tapas, what they are doing is not going to bring very special results. So what is the use of this kind of tapasya? There's no point. Okay? No, bhakti is with Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. If it is done for the Supreme Lord, it is. If it is not done for Supreme Lord, it's not part of bhakti. See, Buddhist philosophy was applied only for that particular time. Now following Buddhist philosophy is not going to bring results. At max, they're going to get a human birth. At max, they're going to be in goodness. At max, they will get in touch with, unless and until you come in touch with a devotee, you are not going to get devotional service. So if they come in touch with a devotee, if they come in touch with the scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam scriptures, they will become a devotee. When we study Bhagavatam, that time we'll study. In the 5th canto of Bhagavatam, Prabhupada, there is this king um, Ashruta named king, he concocted this philosophy of Rishabdev. In the study of Rishabdev, this particular discussion comes. The Jain philosophy has come from Rishabdev's teaching, but then he concocted, interpreted this particular king long time back, and then this Jainism started from that. Jain philosophy started, and then this Jain philosophy is nothing but the concoctions. There is nothing; they cannot attain anything. It's just concoction. It's just mental speculation. It is interpretation of what Rishabdev wanted to teach. Okay. So even if they are saying Krishna is Narak, that's why there are two sects of Jainism, Shwetambar and Digambar. In that one sect keeps Krishna's deity. They keep Krishna's deity in the last step, and they want people to walk on the Krishna's deity. That is the sinful activity. That is the heinous activity. That is the offense they are doing towards Krishna. So what attainment they'll get? Like we see about Mayavadis. Mayavadis are Krishna Aparadhi. They are doing offenses towards Krishna by calling themselves Krishna. So they are sure to go to hell. Similarly, these people who are followers of Jainism and consider Krishna will go to Krishna is in Naraka, will surely go to hell for eternity. So that's the sad part of Jainism. I don't know. Anyways, not so important. Okay. Okay, so first thing is to accept that we are not this body or soul. We have to give up the designations, and the way of giving designation is practicing spiritual life, devotional service. Designation attachment are due to our lust and desire, our wanting to lord it over the material nature. As long as we do not give up the propensity of lording over the material nature, there is no possibility of returning to kingdom of God, Sanatan Dharma, the eternal kingdom, which is never destroyed, can be approached by one who is bewildered by the attraction of the false material enjoyment. One is situated can easily approach the supreme abode. अव्यक्तोक्षर इति उक्तस तम अहु परमाम गतिम यम प्राप्य न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमम मम. Avyakta means unmanifested. Not even all the material world is manifested before us. Our senses are so imperfect that we cannot even see all of the stars within this material universe. In the Vedic literature, we can receive much information about all the planets, and we can believe it or not believe it. All the important planets are described in the Vedic literature, especially Srimad Bhagavatam, and the spiritual world, which is beyond this material sky, is described as avyakta, unmanifested. One should desire and hanker after the supreme kingdom. For one who attains that kingdom, he does not have to return to this material world. Yam praptam na nivartante tad dhama paramam. Once you attain that, not return back. Next, how one can goes on approaching the abode of Supreme Lord. Okay, so one should understand that you are not this body. Give up the detachment, become detached, give up designation, practice spiritual life, and then after that, what happens is further again it is said abhideya. Next, one may raise the question how one goes to the approaching the abode of Supreme Lord. Information of this is given in the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yap prapyanti samadbhavam yati nasti atra samshaya yati natra atra samshaya. There is no doubt. Iske baad there is no doubt. What is that? Antakale cha mameva. When there is a antakal. Smaran muktva kalevaram antakalecha mam eva. Only mine, nothing else. Mam eva. Smaran muktva kalevaram. And whoever at the end of life quits his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this, there is no doubt. So, whoever remembers Krishna is going to attain that supreme spiritual abode, and there is no doubt. So, ultimately, we have to remember Krishna, nobody else. If you remember anybody else, you will attain that particular body. Yes, bro.
We alone don't say Bhakti Bhagavad Gita
हाँ. Krishna and related to Krishna, which whatever makes you Krishna conscious. After remembering the spiritual master, you should be able to remember Krishna. Not the the gold ear, what is a ring worn by the spiritual master. I remember my spiritual, like somebody was behind Prabhupada. For Prabhupada had a gold watch, and then he wanted to steal that gold watch. So he was again and again going around Prabhupada and serving. So Prabhupada removed a gold watch and gave him. He said, "No, I know you are behind me for this particular thing." And then he got shocked how he understood. So after remembering spiritual master, we must remember Krishna. After remembering a devotee, like you are given this name Ojasvi Govinda Das. So if some of your, I shouldn't say that, but if somebody is passing away and you go in front of him, and then he remembers Ojasvi Govind Prabhu, and then he remembers Gangadham Chowk and Pani Puri, that is not going to that is not going to take him back to God. He should be able to remember what? Ojasvi Govind Prabhu, who is devotee of Krishna, he is Govinda, and that's why we are given a spiritual name after initiation, so that we remember Krishna, Govinda. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
So anta kalesha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram. So this is abhedeya. One who thinks of Krishna at the time of death goes to Krishna. One must remember the form of Krishna. He quits his body, thinking of the form. He surely approaches the spiritual kingdom. Mad bhavam refers to the supreme nature of the absolute truth, supreme being. The supreme being is Satchidananda Vigraha, that is his eternal form, that his form is eternal, full of knowledge and full of bliss. Our present body is not Satchidananda, it is Asat, not Sat, it is not eternal, it is perishable, it is not Chit, it is full of knowledge, but it is full of ignorance. Asat, Achit, and Ati Dukhi, it is ignorance. We have no knowledge of the spiritual kingdom, nor we have perfect knowledge of this material world, where there is so many things unknown to us. The body is also Nirananda. Instead of being full of bliss, it is full of misery. All the miseries are experienced in the material world arise from the body, but no one leaves this body thinking of Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and at once attend Satchidananda body. So we will also attend that particular form. So process of quitting the body is explained here. Okay, so we'll stop here. We will next class we will begin from the first verse of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, all rest of the pages please read yourself. We have already studied last two pages. Is the this importance of Gita Mahatmya. Okay. Further is all spoken about Abhidaya process, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, and all of that. So please read it. Okay. Next class, next Sunday, we will study from the first verse of Bhagavad Gita. Any question? Online devotees, any question? Who are there online? I couldn't see anyone.
Hari bol, Hari bol, Hari 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 bol.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai.